Sheriff Donnie Youngblood joins us to talk a little bit more about this. There's other issues that we're going to get to as well. But Sheriff, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
I just want to ask you a little bit about this investigation. Of course, this happened yesterday morning. Of this deputy in his vehicle was not in uniform. Talk a little bit about how does the sheriff's office investigate the alleged misconduct here, while there is the Bakersfield Police Department investigating the criminal acts here?
Yeah, first of all, for clarity, the way I understood it, he was not pulled over. He was found in a patrol car at an intersection. The BPD is working the criminal aspect. They call us. We encourage them to be open with the media on this particular case. And we will work the administrative investigation, meaning discipline within the organization. The city will work the criminal, which means jail time or criminal penalties. They're two separate, and you can't talk with each other about those cases.
I was going to ask you about that because when you talk about law enforcement investigating law enforcement, there could be some people wondering how does this go about with not there you don't want a conflict of interest. So how do the two agencies work together in making sure that there is no conflict of interest in an investigation like this?
We work very well with the city. We call them quite frequently. They call us. Can you handle this investigation? It's a conflict for us, and they're more than happy to do it, as we are for them. This particular case was actually in the city in a criminal investigation. It belongs to them, and they will do it. They won't ask us anything. They'll handle the investigation. We will then order our employee to talk to us on an administrative investigation, and then we'll do what we have to do.
How does the sheriff's office go about, making sure that, obviously these are your employees, this is your
Correct.
employee. How do you go about talking to the rest of your department about misconduct?
Well, I hope we don't have to talk to the rest of the department. Anytime that something like this happens, it embarrasses us, it embarrasses the organization, it embarrasses law enforcement, and it's dealt with quite severely. So we'll see how this plays out.
I want to talk about something that happened earlier this week, and there was your department is investigating what your officers are calling, your investigators are calling a suspicious death of a 2-year-old in East Bakersfield earlier this week. We are hearing from family members that the boy overdosed on fentanyl. Now, we should clarify that the sheriff's office has not confirmed that, the coroner's office has not confirmed that, but I just want to get your take on this suspicious death. What are we learning? What are your investigators learning about this 2-year-old's death?
We're talking to the same people you're talking about to. We're getting the same information that you're getting. The pathologist will do a toxicology, which takes sometimes a lengthy period of time to get returned to find out if the cause of death, cause of manner is fentanyl overdose. We know that 2 to 3-year-old children don't just die generally. We know that there are things in this particular case that are very troubling, and we'll get to the bottom of the cause of death of this child.
Let's talk about fentanyl in general in Kern County. Obviously, we continue to see more and more people die of fentanyl. Last month when you were on, you expressed concern about a Title 42 expiring. Your concern was, you said, that you expected to see an increase in fentanyl coming over the border. Now, Title 42 expired, and Border Patrol officials say that they have seen a decline in migrants crossing the border. Do you still have that concern, though, today?
I absolutely have that concern. It's very easy to get across the southern border. I'm not worried about the migrants coming across. I'm worried about people that are acting like they're migrants, carrying fentanyl that are killing our citizens. We had over 225 people in Kern County last year die of an overdose of fentanyl. This is a crisis, and it has to be dealt with in a lot of different ways, not just the border.
I also want to talk about what happened a little more than a month ago. 4 people in Mojave shot and killed, becoming known as the Mojave mass shooting. Still this morning, we have not received an update on any suspects arrested. Where is this investigation going? Where is it taking you?
Yeah, it's certainly ongoing. We had a shooting within a block of that location earlier that day. We've now connected those 2 shootings. So not only was there 4 people killed, we've made a nexus to the other person who was shot in the head earlier that day. So we have a lot of people out there that know a lot of things. They won't talk, they won't come forward. We're going to go with secret witness. We know that there are a number of people out there that know what happened. In a lot of these cases, not particularly this case, but in a lot of these cases, we know who did it, but you have to be able to prove who did it. And so there's a lot of things involved. This one is very difficult because of the type of environment we're working in.
Is this case going cold?
No, absolutely not gone cold. No way.
So how does, I mean, is this continue? I mean, obviously your investigators are still trying to process through all of this. What happens if you can't talk to witnesses, if they're not speaking?
We still have DNA that hasn't come back yet. You know, make no mistake about it, we have to be able to prove a case, and if we get to a point where we can't prove a case, we simply can't prove a case. But that doesn't mean this case will never go cold. We will continue to work this every single day. We will be in Mojave. We will ultimately, I think we'll be able to prosecute, but
Okay.
we'll, you know, I can't make that promise. I just believe that that's going to happen.
All right, Sheriff Donnie Youngblood, as always, thanks so much for coming in. Appreciate it.